So we're recording this lesson. You're right. We're being watched. Yeah. You're being recorded. Okay. So make sure you're really good, because I don't want to have to, tell your parents. Okay, look, this is what they act like every day in class. Hugh's not here today. Okay, well maybe he will listen to the video and we can say hi to him. All right. That was not me that said that. That was Grace, Hugh, that said that.
Oh, I said.
All right. It's recording now. Yes. All right. So you got 3 minutes, okay, to go up here and with your partner, okay, go about graphing it. Find the focus. Find the directrix. Okay, you do yours. They're going to do theirs, and here's how the game's going to work. Okay, this is basically, just for me to see how we're doing overall. Okay, in 3 minutes, I'm going to say, okay, compare answers with your partner. Okay, and if both of you got this right, the same answers, and they end up being right, you earn 2 points. You circle, I get 2, yay. Okay, but if you, in 2 minutes from now, okay, you look at your partners, and you say, hey, partner, you missed right there. And they say, oh, yeah, I did. And they fix it, and now you get it right. You get 1 point still, because you both got the right answers, allowing them to fix it. Now, sometimes partners are difficult, okay? Especially when you get Lydia. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry, Lydia. Okay? So, don't worry, I'm recording this too. You gotta tell your mom and dad. Look at he picks on me every day in class. Okay? All right. I'm not crazy. Yeah. All right. So, if you look at your partner says, no, you're wrong, and then you say, no, you're wrong. You have 2 choices. One, okay, we keep our answers, and one of us hopefully is right so that we don't lose or win any. That would be 0. But if you're both wrong, then you lose 3 points. Easy. Okay, so make sure if you're both stubborn, okay, one of you is pretty okay with their answer. Okay? They're just, yeah, they are. They're not going to do anything to you, but I want to see how you're performing as you go here. I want to see maybe if there's a trend of I was getting it better, now I got it. Okay, but the questions difficulty could go up and down and all over. Okay?
So, if you change your answer and then both of you are right, you get
Yeah, both of you, you're hoping that your partner knows what you're doing when you get there, because that's just the luck of the draw. Okay? All right. Okay, here we go. Question number 1. Okay, go ahead and, graph. Okay, that part right there. Okay, I kind of put it in a different format here because one of my textbooks a long time ago always put the Y with the Y and the X with the X. Okay, I know today you guys will probably come up here and say, oh yeah, let's just make it look like it did in vertex form. And I have no problems. And with you writing it in a more comfortable form to start off. Regardless, okay, hopefully one of your partners, there's a couple of you looking at me correctly. One of you guys were here to figure out how do I find the focus? How do I find the directrix? And what the heck is the purpose of those 2 things? Yes. Okay, yeah, right here on the back.
Oh.
Okay, there's your graph paper for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I would like you just to kind of recall yourself. Okay, and do your best, because sometimes as you do things wrong, you learn more from wrong answers by correcting them. Okay, you're right. So you're going to do your best to tell her as much as you know.
Can I draw something on the board?
Okay? No, you can draw something right there to start off with. Okay? All right, got a couple minutes here. Keep on going. Yeah. The direction is always perpendicular.
Okay.
That's a focus. Yeah. It's the thing that makes the light bulb.
What's just the 2 of us? Wait, why is this a video lesson?
Whatever person.
harder. See, it's like, wait, you don't even remember. So, you
I know,
remember how to do
lost
it.
a while. Hopefully eventually you get a part of that on the square.
Like on smart device. Oh,
Okay, we both don't know how to do it. Okay, no,
She'll get through that.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. You're both done? Okay, I'll tell you in a little bit to compare and see how you do.
wait, what are we supposed to do?
So to your mind.
Just hang on. Here. Alright, so after 2 or 3 minutes, I'll say, okay, if you're done, compare answers with your partner right now. See if they got it right.
We have the vertex.
Okay? All of you, regardless of you were here yesterday or not, better have found out the vertex was at 3, -6. The only thing that those of you that were gone may want to write down, your equation, okay, no longer has an A out front. It has a 1/4C from, that I told you guys that if you really wanted to figure out where that 1/4C came from, I could spend another half an hour showing you that. But most of us were okay with, okay, I'll just change the A to 1/4C. And C is the distance from the vertex to the focus. Okay, so from the vertex to the focus. The focus is what made the beam of light on that flashlight go wide or skinny. If I moved, I remember that, if I moved that focus right here closer, what happened to the beam of light as I moved this thing? Well, it's not going to let me grab it. Okay. Wow, that was cool. Just click it. Oh, I clicked it. Here's the answers. So, as I was graphing this, okay, what I found out is my C value is the distance to the focus, and since my equation had a 1/12 where the 1/4C was, I set that equal to 0. Please do not just look at the bottom and say, oh yeah, 4 times 3 is 12. Because you know later on I'm going to make this not 1/12, but like 3/7. And then you're not going to be able to figure it out. So I set them equal, cross multiply, and this just said, okay, here's my vertex right here. My focus is 3 up from it. 1, 2, 3. So that right there found my focus at 3, -3, because that was 3 up. I added 3 to my vertex, vertically add 3. And then my directrix, which makes this thing shine left, right, up or down, okay, that makes the direction it shines, is 3 down. Remember, this distance is the same as that distance right there. So this, if I went down 3, so that means I'm going to come over here and subtract 3 from it. It's not a point, but it's a line. The y value is -9, so I graph this at -9. Okay, and then for those of you that weren't here, this is the part that will take you a while. But you guys all remember when I used to do a parent function like this and then make it wide or skinny? Now I've made a new conjecture out that says every point, this point right here, this point right here, this point right here, the distance, if you go from the focus to any point on the parabola, down perpendicular, that's the perpendicular part, that distance right here will be the same as that distance right there. This distance from the focus to that point down here, those are equal distances. So I did that to draw my graph. What I did is I went from the focus out and then straight down. It was a guess. Okay, and I made a point here. I went over and down, did another point there. Went up and down so that these were equal, made another point there. And then from there I was able to say, we gotta go from the vertex through these points. Okay, there's the half of the graph. Here's the line of symmetry. I'm not going to do that on the other side. I'm just going to reflect it over, and there's my other half. All right? So on your sheet of paper there, okay, if you had 0, 1, 2, 3, okay, whatever you had, okay, go ahead and write down. Okay, circle in your game board right now in column that says points earned that round. Circle it. And then your total points, well, this round is going to be the same thing. But eventually you're going to add up every round and see what you end up with at the end. Okay? All right. You get a new partner now. So if your partner wasn't as good for you this time, hopefully your next partner is going to be better. You're going to rotate to your left. This is the hard part. So concentrate here. Go to your left. If you have stuff in the way, you might want to put it out of the way so we don't trip on it. Okay, especially if you have coffee or something that we don't want to step on and spill it all over. Okay? All right. You all move to your left. Go to your left. Not your partner's left. Your left. Okay. So go ahead and put your partner's name down there.
Your name.
Okay, so I'm hoping that short lesson gave you an idea how to get better. Even though I made this equation look easier, sometimes it's harder. Don't let how it looks here make it harder. If you don't like how it looks right now, write it in vertex form. Maybe that'll be easier. And then everything else is the same. When I say that, this is looking like it's more in standard form to me. If it's in standard, the A term would not be a fraction, but okay, maybe I should write that down for you. Here's vertex form. 1, 8, x minus 0 plus 0. You guys, there. Like I said, sometimes the easy equations cause more difficulties. So, go ahead and graph it. Find that focus and directors to make your graph. And when I tell you here in a little bit, you'll check with your neighbor. See if you come up with the same answer. Okay, and you'll write agree or disagree. You'll get there. Okay, that was the part that I know. Just a second. If the focus is below the vertex, it goes down. I always told them in class that the Pac-Man eats a little power pill, and the power pill is like the focus point. So that tells you which way it goes up or down. The C tells you where the focus is, so the C on this one, I hope you're seeing is positive 2. Yeah. So that means up above the vertex by 2. So it's going this way. Those are your names. Yes.
Alright, I'm just gonna
One problem. Like I said, it's going to take a while to pull it all together. All right. So check with your neighbor, see what they got. See if yours looks as beautiful as theirs does. And write down, do you agree or disagree with your partner?
0, 0, 0, 2 for your focus. And y equals -2 for your directors. Because we agree doesn't mean it's right.
All right, so the common question of those of you that weren't here yesterday is, how do I know how to make this thing wide or skinny without just drawing the parents? And I think we're okay with finding the C value. We set that 1 over 8, or 1/8 equal to 1 over 4C. Got the C value to be 2. And we came right up here to where my vertex was. I went up 2 units and found this focus at 0, 2. How do I draw the rest of it? Okay, I start here at the focus, at the light bulb. Okay, and I'm going to say, well, the distance from the focus to the vertex, that's 2, correct? How far is it down to, I said from the focus to the vertex is 2. From the vertex to the directrix, how much was that? 2. So what I do know is that it's 4 down to the directrix. So what I kind of do is I count over 4, and then go down 4, so that this is the same distance. That's going to start forcing my parabola. I just can't just do it once, because then I could do something like that. So I come over here and now this is a guess. I kind of go, okay, that has to be perpendicular. Does this line right here look like it's the same as that one right there? I mean, I'm getting better than at least I was in chapter 2. Chapter 2, we just drew a dotted line and said, boop, skinnier, a little wider. You know what I'm saying? Now we're getting, it's okay, now it has to at least go through there. Okay, so I just keep on drawing some out here and down, and that starts, well, there's half of my graph. Got the line of symmetry. Let's at least make the other half of the graph. I can't go off my board. But, okay, that's where you draw the second half of your graph. Yeah, because the focus is always the same distance away from the vertex as the directrix is. So that's the easiest one to do always. Just count straight. All right, so write down, did your partner and you get the same answer? Give yourself 2 points. If not, 1 point if you changed. If you're stubborn, and what do you got it right? 0?
2 points. No, 2 points. Oh.
If you both agreed and got it right, you get 2 points more. Yeah. You write 4 there, circle 2 here. So 2 there, 2 there, and total. All right, find a new partner. Rotate to your left. All right. You don't have to graph if you don't want to, but maybe you do need to. It's just a quick geometry question. You did these last year. You did them quickly on that little worksheet I gave you right after the test. So find the equation of the line that is a perpendicular bisector of segment AB. Find the equation of the perpendicular bisector line to segment AB. So this is pulling back. What's a perpendicular bisector? How do I find the equation of a line? And you got couple different forms for lines. You got standard form, point slope form. You have slope intercept form. I don't care which form you put it in. Pick the easiest one, the fastest one. I don't mean the fastest one for you, the fastest one for what information. And do be careful, I'm not asking you to find the equation of AB. I'm asking you to find is, okay, let's say right here is B, and let's say right over here is A. I'm asking you to find the equation of that line right there after it bisects it. I don't care what form you put it in. Put it in the fastest one so you have to do the least amount of work. All right, check with your neighbors, see if they got the right answer.
Yeah, y equals
3 points. Or 2 points.
What form did you put it in?
That is if you got the right answer here. You know, the pen is not
So
too.
did you get 9 points? So did you find a midpoint? No, I didn't.
All right, I didn't care if you found it in slope, point slope or slope intercept. AB had a slope of 2. So the perpendicular bisector is the opposite reciprocal. So if AB was 2, the opposite reciprocal is -1/2. Where did this coordinate right here, 7, comma, -1, where did that coordinate right there come from? That was the midpoints. Okay? So that was the whole purpose of that first little 6-minute video, because I need this stuff as we go into Conics. Okay? Alright, 2 points, 1 point, 0 points, -3 points. Okay, circle on me, got that one, keep your total up, and rotate.
I didn't kind of get that so I just can't drop it. Yeah. I think that like the first points, like I don't know if you're right.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
So yeah, if you don't want it in this form, you're more than welcome to bring the 8 over to the other side. But you do have to keep it in the x equals. Because that tells you which direction the directrix is going. Yeah, simplicity was a bad day. You turned him to come. Maybe you should watch the video lesson. I know you guys think. Oh man. Just be careful. The vertex is not going to be at, it's not here. Okay, that's because I can't say it enough. It's equal to 0. Okay, and it says the y value is -2, not the x value. This is the k value, that's the h. Yeah. This is being recorded, yeah, so everybody knows that Mina's lost.
Excuse me.
Okay. Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? Oh yes, Mina with an I.
Nina Senior.
Mina Senior, yeah, okay. Alright. This part right here. Remember, if I told you it was x equals, what was the directrix equation going to be? If it was y equal, the directrix was y equals. If the equation's x equals, your directrix is going to be x equals, and because it's x equals, that's going to make your graph not go up and down anymore. Okay, check with your neighbor, see how they did. Okay, see what they come up with.
So let's say we got that one off.
He does dog line.
I know, what you think you're getting into, throw some balls up there. I know. I was kind of impressed as I walked around. I was happy that I didn't have people put C as 1 or -1. Okay, that was good.
What's the distance from?
We know this is -3/4, so I hope everybody realizes that it's going to go down or to the left. So it's been rock steroid, one of the two. Okay, so looking at this one right up here. Okay, this is where I said set the y equal to 0. That's the y value for the vertex. Then I put in the x value for the vertex, which was right there. You look at it over here, you'd set that equal to 0. Okay, it doesn't matter what form you're in. So there's my vertex. Now my focus is always that c distance. This is where I tried to emphasize, don't just look and see what do I times 4 by, but set the 1/4c equal to that, okay, a value, okay, that used to be, okay, cross multiply, and the c is only 1/3 unit, either left or down, of the vertex. Now this one right here has to be going left, right, because we know the directrix is going to be x equals. And since this is a -1/3 to find the focus, I'm going to go from my vertex 1/3 unit. So I'm going to take, and from this vertex right here, subtract 1/3 from 8. Subtract 1/3 from 8, and I get 7 2/3. So that's where the focus is, right there. Okay, directrix, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go the other direction, 1/3. So I'm going to add 1/3 to 1/8, or to 8. Okay, so here is my directrix, and you know, the directrix is not a point. The directrix is a line that forces the parabola to shine. That's the, when I say shine, that's the beam of light. Okay, to face in the certain direction. The focus causes the width. The direction is caused by the directrix. Okay, from there, okay, I have all my pieces, and this is where you just have to go. All right, I'm going to go over and down, go up and down like that. You can see I'm not drawing my boards off here a little bit. Now we connect, okay, those parts right here, then reflect it to the other side. Okay, put your 2 points down if you both got that answer. 1 if I fixed mine because I agreed with you. 0 if we were both stubborn and I was right. -3 if we didn't know what we were both doing. All right, rotate on. We're hoping it gets better.
Wouldn't you just like take your graph and then just turn it and then
You
graph
could,
it?
yeah.
That's
You
why.
shouldn't do that, but because you'll get X lines and you sometimes do the points screwed up. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go away from me giving you the equation, and I'm going to give you the defining characteristics. Not all of them, just 2 of them. Okay, and I said if the directrix is x equals 6, so you could graph that. And if I told you the vertex was 10, 7, you could plot that. Second hour got mad because I said, oh, now it's going to fall off my graph. And I just said, why don't you count by 2s? And they thought that was really brilliant. I don't care what you do, but you need to graph it, find the focus. Graph and find that focus. done here, we'll go to left chapter. Cover this one. You realize that when you're graphing it, the directrix is going to make this thing shine left or right. Okay, it's going to face left or right when you do the parabola. And our vertex, if it's way over here, my focus is going to be way out here. And this is why I said maybe you wanted to count by twos, so you can shrink this. I can't move it in right now, and I'm smart, but you can move your stuff in by counting by twos. What went through your head is, what's the C value? I can find that, I can count it. Okay, it looks like that value, didn't you guys get 4 for the C value? Because it was backwards 4 to the directrix, so go forwards 4 for the focus, and then plug everything in. All right, check with the partner, see what they came up with, or see where they're at. That was better. I saw at least some more conversations that are good going on. So all of us are starting to catch on a little better. We're not doing awesome yet, but we're doing better. Okay? So graphing it right here. Hey, I don't care if you put the equation right over here, but I put the plus 10 over here. The biggest part you got to watch out for when I ask for the equation, because the directrix was an x equal, we know this graph has to be an x equal. Okay, be careful on that. Be careful that your y's and x's, you didn't flip them around. Okay, very common mistake. Okay, there's my graph. Okay, there's my focus. Okay, there's my equation. Alright? Okay, when we come back, hopefully we can finish up on a couple more. Okay, should be at least be able to get 2 more here, which could help us out.
I did pretty good on that.
Good. That means we're starting to catch up. Okay, next question here. Okay, so question number 6. Have we rotated yet? Okay, go ahead and rotate. Starting the partner here. Who was going to say hi to Maddie? McKenna? Say hi to Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
Okay, McKenna says hi.
Okay, also, hi, Allison.
All right, Allison. Hopefully, are they both taking tests? All right, get a 5. All right, here we go. Next one, right up here. We're going to switch things around, so it's very similar to that last one. But this time I'm giving you the directrix and the focus, not the directrix and the vertex. right, check with your neighbors, see how they did. Yes.
I agree with
All right, put down if you agree or disagree on there.
Is it
Yeah.
All right, on this one right here. Hey, how did you guys go about finding the vertex? Hopefully you didn't say I counted in one, in one, in one, in one. You should have found, yes, find the midpoint. So the point on the directrix now we have here is -1, and since we're going to, let's see, vertex, what was the directrix was at 4? So we're at -1, 4. So if I wanted to find out this vertex, I'm going to take this focus point. What was the focus point again on there that you guys have written down? -1, 2. Okay, so my vertex here is going to be -1 plus -1 divided by 2, and it is 2 plus 4 divided by 2, okay, which is 6/2. Okay, and -2 divided by 2, which is still -1. Okay, so there's my vertex. Okay, you can count. Okay, that's yes, my vertex. Okay, from my vertex right here down to the focus. Okay, that part right there is going to be, it looks like 1 unit. Is that right? So that's my C value, but you are going down. So the C value is not +1, but it's -1, and that's how that came out to be a negative, which means it had been rocks. Okay, to get a -1, 4. And plugged in the vertex, H, A, and K, and then we did our graph so that we were able to get these parts were exactly perpendicular. And okay, put your points down that you got on that round. Try to keep your totals as you go. Okay, let's find a partner here. Rotate on. By the way, I do have your tests graded. Okay, I won't turn them back today, but if you want to stop in to sometime today and see them, you're more than welcome to. I'll put them in Power School next hour. They weren't too bad overall, so that was good. All right, here we go. Nice simple one that always seems to be more trouble than their work. Y equals 2x squared. Yeah. I know it is. All right, so yesterday's worksheet. Okay, your homework assignment for tonight is just to finish up on that worksheet from yesterday. Now, I know it was very blurry, and apparently my remind picture wasn't much better. Okay, the book that I actually took it from is right up here if you want to take a picture yourself. Okay? All right, so go ahead and compare with your partner. Okay, if you haven't done so already, see what they came up with.
How do you know how long?
Hopefully all of you guys put your 2 equal to 1 over 4c. Alright, so I got 1 over 4c equal to 2. This one's going to be a really hard one to graph. Okay, because when it gets skinnier, these things are not fun to graph actually. So to put your c value up from 0, 0, 1, 8, the focus is almost right on top of it. Okay, it's very hard to go out and over. Okay, so I'm not necessarily as worried about your picture as much as you at least know how to find the equations, okay, or find the focus, find the directrix, and obviously then my vertex would have been at 0. So any questions here on doing those? All right, one more here, and then we'll save the rest for tomorrow. So rotate one more time. All right. Keep on making them more fun as we go. Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Can't wait to do this one. It is. Crank the head around. While you're working on this thing, I want to tell you one thing that you need to think about. When we're dealing with all these conic sections, you're going to have eventually come up with the idea of how do I know this is a parabola? And anytime that you have a parabola, you will always see one term that's squared and one term that's a linear term. And that always defines a parabola. And you have no squared terms, that's the line. You have 2 squared terms, that one gets into the circle, the hyperbola, or the okay, well, when you do only have 1 squared term, you always want to try to get that linear term so it's 1x or 1y. So hopefully all of us decided to get it x equals 4/3 y squared. All right, let's check with your neighbors, see what they got so far. Oh. All right, let's take a look at what I got. Okay, now this one right here, since it was an x equal, we know that's going to open left or right. And because I found out, okay, that my C value right here is a positive 3/16, that means that it has to open up going to the right, because that's where the focus is going to be, is to the C value. Okay, but unfortunately what I'm going to have to do is when I have my vertex, which is at 0, 0, if I'm going to go right 3/16, that means I have to add 3/16 onto the x coordinate to find the focus. 3/16, comma 0. Okay, I have to subtract 3/16 to find the equation. Okay, it's never a point, and that's something you gotta watch out for. A directrix is not a point, okay, but a line. Okay, and that puts us backwards 3/16. And then again, the picture gets kind of ugly because it's really, really small. Okay? Is everybody okay with what I'm trying to teach you? The rule of, the main thing why we're doing this is because I want you to realize every point on a parabola is equal distance to the focus as it is down to the directrix. Okay, that's the big teaching point that I'm trying to get to you. Okay? All right, so go back to your desks. Okay, we'll be on, this is what number 9 is going to look like when we start this one tomorrow. There's 9. There's 10. 10 looks fun. Yeah. There you go. And there's 11. Why? Yeah. Yeah. Those are fun. All right, everybody say goodbye to everybody here.
Bye.
Yeah. See you, Mom.
Please help me.